This episode of The Rest is Football is powered by our new presenting partners, Fuse Energy. We're thrilled to welcome them to the team, especially outside the regular transfer window.
A new signing providing power and energy. That sounds like a bit of me back in the day, Gaz.
And reliable too, not one of those fair weather players who go missing in December.
Fuse will be powering The Rest is Football right through the season. They're one of the UK's fastest growing energy suppliers, building solar farms and helping homes make smarter choices. Power that performs throughout the season.
Fuse, keep everything running, lights on, meters smart, cars charged, a full squad you can count on.
And when you sign up for their fixed rates, your energy prices hold their shape, even as the nights turn colder and the title race heats up.
The season is long, but with Fuse, the energy never drops. For more information about energy that hits the top corner every time, head to fuseenergy.com/football. Hello and welcome to The Rest is Football with Micah Richards and me, Gary Lineker. Alan is grafting today with Premier League Productions, but he insists that he'll join us for the second half when we'll talk about Sunday's games, today's games. He'll probably be in a somewhat bad mood, having watched Newcastle get beaten by West Ham. But Mike, how's your weekend been?
Yes, no work for me. I've been doing some commercial work. I won't tell you who I was working for this weekend, just in case they don't want me to announce it. But yeah, good for me and good for the pod.
Good to hear. Good to hear, Micah.
And you? What's your weekend consisted of this?
Watching football mostly, as usual.
Are you getting bored now or not, Gus? Come on.
No, I'm generally pretty busy. I mean, I don't miss doing much of the day. Funnily enough, I was thinking this morning, I was watching the show again and I thought, I've watched more Match of the Days in the last 2 months than I've watched in the last 20 odd years. Because I never used to watch it when I did it. So, because no one likes to watch themselves too often, do they? You don't like to listen to your own voice and all that. It's awful. But now I'm actually watching the show, and it's on a I watch it every week because it helps for this, and also it's good. It gives you. I mean, I always my argument about Match of the Day, and the reason that it still does really good business is that a lot of people in the country, and I'm not one of those people. I have got Sky and TNT and everything else. But a lot of people haven't, and it gives you, your little fix of Premier League football, doesn't it? So I was watching that, and it's very helpful for doing this because obviously you can't see all the games. And that's the one thing you can't do that I used to be able to do. You get there on a Saturday, and we'd have that bank of screens, monitors, and watching all the games. But I quite enjoy. I love watching football at home, though. It's quite not. Yeah, it's just nice.
There's something nice.
It's really comfortable.
Can I ask you though, Gaz? Why don't you watch yourself back?
I used to. I used to do a lot, and I also listen to the podcast back quite a bit, even though it grates a bit when I listen to myself. You just do it to improve. But I did, television for so many years, and in the first 5-10 years, I would watch myself back as almost a punishment, but not really. More to learn. You just see little things that you don't pick up at the time. So I did do, and then it got to the stage where you do Match of the Day, and then I get home at 3:30, sometimes 4 a.m. And then obviously I'm not going to get myself up for the repeat. And I also know what's going to happen in the show. So I kind of got out of the habit of that. But I got to a stage where, I sort of knew how it worked. I could probably do it in my sleep. So, but yeah, I watch it now because I don't have the ability to be able to watch all the games that I used to be able to watch. So I still enjoy the show. It does, does what it says on the tin. Let's start with Saturday's games, and then we'll discuss today's games. We're recording this on Sunday evening when Al's free a little bit later on. Probably start with Arsenal, top of the league. They're looking very good. I know things can change in football, but at the moment, they look solid. They look organised. They look like they're in control of everything. And they're incredibly difficult, not only to beat, but to score against, Micah.
Yeah, it's interesting watching Arsenal because we talk about them every week and it's the same old story, isn't it? Oh, they keep a clean sheet, they deny opportunities, they work really hard. And, especially on Match of the Day or even on our podcast or whatever we're doing, I don't like singling out just one player because I feel like it's a team effort. And I have to give Arteta credit for building that. It looked like it was coming, then couldn't quite get over the line. Now it looks like it's back. But I have to identify Declan Rice. Declan Rice, he's took his game to a next level now, where you're talking about him as possibly being one of the best in world football.
Yep, that's fair.
And we saw him at West Ham, a very good player. I remember some pundits were criticising him in terms of they didn't know what he was going to be. Is he a defensive midfielder? Is he an attacking midfielder? He's everything. Exactly that, guys. Yeah. Everything. He's a box-to-box midfielder. Yeah. I like him in the 8. I feel as though sometimes he's wasted in a 6 and he doesn't dominate the game. He can do everything, but he's consistently putting in these performances where we have to start talking about him as one of the best in world football now.
And I'd take it a bit further about England as well. If I were Thomas Tuchel, which I'm not, and it's very easy just to be on the sidelines, as we all know, but I would look at England and I would go, imagine having as your 2 8s, Bellingham, Rice, boom, 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 up and down, and then a holding player, whether it be Anderson or Wharton or whoever it is that kind of player, and then 3 up. I mean, if you've got those 2 going, the amount of ground that Rice covers and the way he advances with the ball. He's such a mover. He's quick once he gets in his stride, and he covers the ground really well with or without the ball. He's got a real kind of smart side to the way he thinks about the game defensively. He gets interceptions. He's just he's got it all. His delivery from crosses, free kicks, corners, call it what you like. Is as good as anyone probably in the game at the moment. He just hits the money every time. So, he really has. Some players, you see them as young and you think he's got something, this kid, but has he got quite enough to go a little bit? But he's one of those players that continues to improve as they get older. And he clearly, I think, probably thinks, I don't know him, I've never met him, but I think he strikes me as a really solid individual who probably thinks about the game a lot.
Yeah, he is. I've met him off the field. He takes criticism really well. And when you're analysing someone, you're talking about positioning and all that sort of thing, and he would agree with you and say, I need to do better there, and that's what I'm going to do next season. And that's exactly what he's done. Yeah. And our opinion is just our opinion. We speak about football. But he knows the bits. When I used to have them interviews, when someone said, "Oh, he can do this, but he can't," I used to take it personally and think, "What do they know?" My reaction was to, "Oh, what's he talking about?" Yes, or react. But Declan Rice's attitude is, "I'm going to take it on board and I'm going to show everyone exactly what I can do," and that's what he's done. It's so good to see. And if Arsenal do win the league this season, because of someone like him. Again, I mentioned at the start, it's a team game, but he's just exceeding all expectations.
Yeah, I agree. Did you see the analysis on Match of the Day of the 2 fullbacks as well, which I thought was really good?
I thought it was really good because Rich actually sent it to me to do. Okay. Last week.
Rich is the editor of Match of the Day, by the way, for those that don't know.
Yeah, sorry for all. Yeah, we've mentioned him so many times. People probably know. But yeah, Rich, Match of the Day. But he sent it to me as I was going on Sky, and their stats are not different, but I don't want to take someone's stats from somewhere else and go to a different show. And then I saw Alan do it. I was like, you bastard. Honestly, I want I wanted to do that, especially because I'm a fullback. And what the analysis was, and everyone didn't see it, is everyone talks about Arsenal's wingers and midfielders and all that, but it's actually the fullbacks are in positions to take
Timber
shots
and
get in good areas. Calafiori and Timber. Some of the best fullbacks I've seen in the
Amazing
system.
how they get in positions like they're playing basically up front at times. It's mental.
It is, but that's what they managed to do. And again, you go to coaching. You have to give Arteta credit for that, for trusting them. And it doesn't matter, even Ben White. Let's not forget Ben White, because I always feel like when people are performing well, we forget about the ones who come in and do well. Ben White comes in and Lewis Skelly comes in, especially Lewis Skelly in the Champions League game where he got that assist and he burst through free play. They've just got really good players all over the field.
Incredible depth at the moment. I mean, but Yuri Timber, I think he's truly exceptional footballer. And they've got so many of them at the moment. So I think it's got to the point now. I know we all tipped Liverpool at the start of the season. I know and we'll come to Liverpool in a second, but it'd be hard to go, if you had to pick now, it'd be hard to go against Arsenal, wouldn't it?
It's too early.
No, it is too early, but it'd be hard, even as early as it is, to actually go tip anyone ahead of them at the moment. But we all know what football's like. You win, you lose 2 games on the bounce and everyone's demanding that the manager gets sacked.
You know what the question's going to be at the end of the season? I was looking at all the numbers. I was looking at I use an app called Y-Scout, and you basically you watch the game, but you watch it in 40 minutes instead of watching the whole game. So no throw-in. As soon as the ball goes out, it's back into play. But the question is going to be, Gyökeres, can he make the difference in the bigger games? Because right now, he's doing so well for the team in terms of stretching, but he's missing a lot of opportunities that maybe could go against him at the end of the season. I know we've got Kai Havertz to come back, but Gyökeres needs to be the difference against the bigger teams, the later stages of the Champions League, and when it gets really difficult in the league, you're playing 3 times a week. If you have a Real Madrid in 1 week, you have a Man City or whatever it may be, that needs to be the difference. I
agree with it. It would have helped his confidence scoring yesterday. You know, people will say, but it was just a tap-in. Doesn't matter. Does not matter one iota. It's really important for strikers, because I think he'd gone like 5 games or something without a goal in the Premier League. So that would help him because, you know, believe you me, I know when you go through those little patches that you start to wonder a little bit. The criticism that people perhaps would say is that, I don't want to call him a flat track bully, that's a bit unfair, because what he did, obviously in Portugal, he didn't really score many goals against the top teams. And so far, his goals have been against Burnley, Forest and Leeds. So I take your point. I think he needs to do in some of the big games, but, you know, but I think he's had a reasonable start, but he has given, and I think Alan pointed it out the week or so ago, he has given them something different because he does like to try and get behind defences, which makes defences drop a little bit deeper. So therefore you have more space for the likes of Declan Rice and the playmakers also that Arsenal have. So it's working at the moment. But I take your point. He needs to do it we see it in the Champions League, or we'll see it in a big game. We shall see. But I would say overall, I would think he's been a reasonable start. Nothing incredible, but I mean he's not Haaland, clearly, but then no one is. No one is. He's unique. But yeah, I think Arsenal looking really good. Let's move on to Liverpool, Micah. And we discussed their decision to play a second string. Lots of teams played second string, but then leaving everyone off the bench and basically throwing really the Carabao Cup against a team as good as Palace. You didn't give yourself a great chance to win that game. And we all said, he's got to win the game at the weekend to justify that. And then with Real Madrid coming up. So they did it. And it was he actually went pretty much back to the way and how they played last season with the personnel that they played last season. True?
What did I say to Alan? Alan was saying, he's got to win this game. I wish he was here right now. I might pull him up later when we speak to him. The Carabao Cup is the least fancy
Well,
extravagant cup. We all know that.
Yeah, but Newcastle won it last year, Micah. Don't forget that.
The manager had a decision to make, and I said it was the right decision because he always plays, historically Liverpool have played with youngsters in the early rounds of the League Cup. That's always been
and the FA Cup as well. Done. If you remember last season, they did exactly the same in the FA Cup last season.
And what did I say? In the league, I said that they should go back to basics. They've had a few injuries. Who comes back? Gravenberch comes back into the starting lineup. He scores. McAllister comes back. A little bit more protection in there. And Szoboszlai, we all know his running power. Of course it was going to go back to something like what we had seen because they've got the players to do that. I actually thought Villa did very well early in the game.
Yeah, they did have chances.
They broke the press really well. And Liverpool was like, they're actually playing through us here. But as the game went on, they figured out what they needed to do and the balance was just a lot better.
Interesting thing is, isn't it, apart from Ekatike, all the new players... all that money that they've spent.
It's a hard one, isn't it? Because you're spending money, but then it has to be in a system that they're familiar with. If you have Wirtz, and at the moment, he's not up to speed for the Premier League, but he spent 100 million on him, so
it's difficult.
100%, it was the right decision that he made, without doubt. He had to do it. He had to do that. But in terms of the money spent, they've spent a lot, but they've also lost a lot. And I know we talked about Trent before and all that sort of thing. Like, of course you're going to miss that caliber of play. You just have to. Liverpool now, go back to what they did last season, slowly but surely move Wirtz into the side, whether that's going to be on the left, for Gakpo at some point. But the way the Premier League is too fast and furious.
It would also be good for Wirtz to come back into the team when there's confidence in the team.
Correct.
I think that would be sensible man management at the moment. Take him out the firing line a little bit and then, bring him on, let him, and then just, because we know how good he is. I mean, Wirtz he's a really good player.
He's top class.
And you don't buy these players for the first 3 months. You buy them for years ahead, long, and he's an exceptionally talented young. We've watched so much of him, haven't we, over the last year or two at different places, whether it be for the national team or when he was at Bayer Leverkusen, and he's so gifted. So it will come good for him as long as he's mentally strong enough to deal with the situation at the moment, because it won't be easy for him. Don't think he's not suffering a little bit with this.
But yeah, I agree with that. And when we're talking about it, and a lot of people saying, he's extra money, you're just protecting him because he plays. It's nothing to do with that. No. It's because we've seen him play for the national team. Yeah. We've seen him play in the Champions League. We know what he can do. I'm not basing my evidence off the Bundesliga. I'm not. I'm basing it off in Europe. And he started so young. He's got to come good, and I believe he will.
Yeah, he's really, really good at football. I think it was important for Liverpool in all sorts of different ways, especially going into a big game in the week against Real Madrid. Biggie, that one, isn't it?
I fear for Real Madrid. Kylian Mbappe is in scintillating form. At the moment,
two more goals yesterday. He's knocking. As well, he's brilliant at getting behind defences. So Liverpool are going to have to be very careful because they're very good at the counter-attacking style of play. Real Madrid at the moment, with Mbappe spinning behind, really good,
really good. And he always likes to time his run right at the very edge. If they give him space. Yep. He will punish you. I can't wait. Is that game's Tuesday, right? Not Wednesday. Tuesday, right? Champions League.
I think it is Tuesday. Yes.
Yeah,
Tuesday.
I can't wait for that.
Yeah, Bellingham as well. He's come back after his injury and he's really looking good. Brilliant goal yesterday. He's funny. I just a little plug. I'm not sure when we're going to put it out. Probably next week or this week or the week after next. Carlo Ancelotti I interviewed on Friday.
No,
Micah.
you didn't tell me.
Yeah.
You keeping secrets.
Well, no, it was quite a last minute thing, and I don't want you lot working too hard. And he was down the line. He was in Brazil because he's obviously now the Brazil's national team coach. I mean, it was great, and we did about 35, 40 minutes, and he's obviously very busy, but he was really good. And I asked him about Jude Bellingham because you hear these. Like people start going, oh, he's too big for his boots and he's this, that and the other. And you hear the rumours and you go, and I'm thinking, I don't think that, I'm not sure if that's true. And I asked him and he went, model professional, absolutely brilliant kid, great personality, wonderful talent. And it just affirmed what? Because you know what, they jabber in the rumour monger world and all this nonsense of you're hearing stuff. But
let's not forget it's World Cup year. We don't need that noise going in.
No.
Okay, it
comes because he was left out, I suppose. But he'd only just come back from being out.
Correct.
I mean, he will be in England's next squad next week. If he's not, then I'll sit here and go, I'll actually be flabbergasted if he's not.
Would it just be nice though, guys? I mean, you've been to multiple tournaments with the BBC and a player and as a broadcaster. But wouldn't it just be nice to go into the World Cup where our star players just have nothing surrounding them, whether that would be insecurity of whatever the situation might be, whether that be uncertainty, whether that be no injuries, loss of form, any of that. I just thought it'd be nice for once.
It'll happen one day. It will happen one day. I mean, I'd go back to my point about Bellingham and Rice and the talent you've got with. I mean, but then, there are other. Spain have got incredible talent. France have got incredible talent. Argentina will take some beating still, I think, defending their trophy. But World Cups are quite hard to win, But if we, if you're absolutely right, if we went to a tournament, which we always seem to get one of our big players injured or something, if we had one where actually it all came together, then you never know. You never know. Maybe Thomas. Maybe he's, we'll see if it can possibly happen. But important win for Liverpool. God, Spurs. I was a bit shocked by this. I mean, well done Chelsea. They obviously got the better of it, and I thought Caicedo again was absolutely brilliant. I did, watch most of that game, and I mean he's such a talent, but. I mean, Spurs were so disappointing. I mean, they've had a reasonable start to the season, I would say. Good, Thomas Frank's come in. But yesterday seemed like a massive step backwards because, they were unbeaten in the Champions League. I know they've had 2 draws. But they were also, they're in the top 4 of the Premier League. But there just seems, after that, like a negative energy. And you had the kind of strange thing, didn't you, at the end of the game with Van der Ven and Jed Spence going off the pitch, having Thomas Franks ask them to go round. And, I understand from a player's point of view that you'd be pissed off and just want to get down the tunnel. But if your manager tells you to do that, you'd think you should do it. So all of a sudden, from being all lights going really nicely to there's a few questions. First time. Yeah,
well, firstly, on the field, that's one of the worst games I've seen Spurs play.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even including
he went to the game yesterday and he was saying it's absolutely terrible.
I couldn't believe I didn't know what I was trying to do. Bergvall hindered it. When Bergvall come off and they had to bring on Xavi Simons, it didn't work out. So maybe that's one of the excuses. But I don't understand what they was trying to do. They was trying to play out. They was taking risks, but they had no control in the game. They didn't look like they was going to score.
They looked like the big gaps between the back and the
everywhere.
Front. And I've never seen that with a Thomas Frank team. He always, they're always like together. It might just be one, you get games where you get a number of players off and they're not quite, but it was a strange one.
It was just flat. I was watching the game thinking, okay, but maybe we're doing Chelsea a disservice because Caicedo, like you said, was just everywhere. Every time Spurs tried to play out, they were there, weren't they? They knew exactly where to be. The press was high. The defence would jump in as well.
Brought him into my fantasy team, Mike. I thought I should mention that. Got 10 points.
You know what? I was going to bring him in. I waited one more week. I bought him Mateta.
Me too. I did my wild card. I'm learning about this game, things like wild card. I've got my bench boost next week. I mean, I'm so excited for it, Mike.
It's so good, isn't it? And just on your second point, with Jed Spence and Van der Ven, I listened to a little bit of an interview and with Thomas Frank, and he sort of played it down.
Well, you would do, wouldn't you? You say it's not important.
He is a guy to play it down. Yes, agreed. But if they're disrespecting the manager like that, it's an absolute disgrace. And if they did, I wouldn't even play him the next game. I really wouldn't, because Thomas Frank's not that sort of person who causes that confrontation. So that's just a lack of respect. But yeah, it's strange coming from Van der Ven, because...
Well, it was actually the two players that were probably responsible for the goal as well, don't forget. Between them, they kind of messed up about 3 times, didn't they?
Yeah.
And they've both been really, really good this season. I think it's worth saying that as well. Maybe the two of them have just gone, we've had a nightmare. I can't go and face the fans because it was our fault. So you don't know all the details. So you've got to be a little bit careful in this. But at the same time, to go, dismiss your manager in front of everybody is not a great look.
It's just one of those in the moment, and we don't know what happened, and only the manager does. And if he needs to make a stance or take a stance on how he felt about the situation, and I've been in that situation too, where I got subbed and I threw my shirt. Down.
Yeah. Who to?
I was playing for Stuart Pearce. I might have told you years ago when I was playing for Curtis. Yeah, and I threw my shirt down. And I meant no disrespect by it. This could just be a thing where they were so frustrated with the game, and it looked worse than what it was,
I think that's probably the case.
Which is probably the case, yeah. But if it wasn't, the manager has to take a stance, I think.
Yeah, I agree. Good win for Chelsea, though. A couple of other games to talk about. I thought Man United, I think they're creeping back. They're not going to, they're not going to be top 4, I don't think. Unlikely, but you can see, what do they call it? Marginal gains. The 2 new signings are doing, 2 of the new signings are doing pretty well. There's still things about them and the balance and who plays on the wing backs and where it's not a perfect fit, and they're probably slightly fortuitous with the ball that should have not been. They gave a corner when it probably wasn't a corner, although it was a tiny little decision, but which VAR couldn't obviously intervene with. But overall,
I would still say progress, but I just don't. And Ashley Williams did it on Match of the Day yesterday. I just don't like wingers being in that position.
Wingers as wing backs,
yeah, but he's a winger, isn't he? Why?
He was right. Actually, I thought it was really good.
It was really good, and I just thinking they're better, but I don't know if they're better because of the individual brilliance or they're just learning the system more, but they're still vulnerable.
They're still vulnerable.
Areas.
I would say they're slightly better, which is not. But I think they're probably moving in the right direction. I still don't think overall they've got the players that necessarily suit the way that Amrin plays. And Ahmad was probably a really good example of that. You could see the positives of his game, but also the fact that he's not a defender and he's been asked to play as a wing back, and he's not a wing back, he's a winger or a forward. So, so at the minute you can still see where they haven't necessarily got the players to suit the system. So I think that whilst they've had a little bit of a good run and a revival, it's hard to envisage that they'll sustain it for a long period. But you've got to remember, what were they, like that 16th in the league last season? So they've you're not going to suddenly jump up into the top. But the one thing I would say for them is their recruitment, I think, for the first time in quite some time, looks like it's been pretty good. Cunha's a really good player, and Mbumo's a really good player. Sesko, I think, might show something as well. I think he's promising. So I think it's been better recruitment, but time will tell on that as well.
I agree with everything that you think. I think you nailed it, actually. But time will tell. I had United finishing 6th, I think, or above this season. So with the players that they have, the signings that they brought in the summer, that's where I have them. I think we're just looking for consistency. I think it's as simple as that. And let's see how far it takes them.
Yeah, let's see. Wolves. Bring on to that because obviously Vitor Pereira's lost his lost. I mean, what chance have you got as a? It's like a managerial merry-go-round, isn't it? In many ways, this whole thing, and you can just see it. It's like he comes in, does a really, really, really good job last season when he took over from pretty much where they are now this season. And he turned things around. But last season, he did have some talent. Comes the summer, they sell their best 2 players, Ait-Nouri to Manchester City and Cunha to Manchester United. Then don't really buy anybody else. And then, things start to go wrong. Surprise, surprise. And whose fault is it? Now,
and don't forget, they unsettled Strand Larsen.
Yeah,
with Newcastle coming in for a bid,
very true.
50 million. He thinks he's going out the door as well.
Yeah,
you know what it's like when you're a player and you come in and they say, "You've sold 2 of the best players. You've come through the door. You're thinking, I'm going to Newcastle. I'm going to play for a team who wants to play Champions League football or is playing Champions League football, and you're looking at it and thinking, well, I want to go too." And then he had that period where he's injured for a little while, and he's come back and he's feeding off scraps.
Yeah, it's very difficult.
Wolves are good in midfield. Yeah. They've got some good players in the midfield, and I do like Manetzi. He's one of my favourite players to watch because he's sort of like a holding midfielder who always gets in the box and always starts a press. I really like him. But defensively, they're just not good enough, and they always concede goals.
Yeah. It's going to be difficult for whoever comes in. They're talking about Gary O'Neill. I mean, talk about a merry-go-round, I should say. He obviously, it was about a year ago that he lost his job, and it's a very similar situation. Maybe they'll just take it in turns now, so you get a little dip. Bring back Gary O'Neill for this season. They'll start next season badly. Bring back Vitor Pereira next season. Keep it going. But you just look at it across the board, don't you? So you go, the managers now, like Nuno goes from Forest to he's at West Ham, and then you've got Sean Dyche who's been at this and that, and then he goes. It's just like, which club are you at the moment? It's a mad way to make a living. I talked to Carlo Ancelotti, and it will be in the podcast about managers, and he went, I was sacked here, I was sacked at Par, I was sacked there, I was sacked. It's like, and he's probably got the best record of any coach ever.
I bet he wasn't complaining about the the settlement fee when you leave as a manager there, was he?
Well, I didn't bring it up, funnily enough. But I mean, that's the thing. I mean, they do. I said to him, does it not get to you though? And he went, well, the first time it did, the second time a little bit, and then actually after that. Yeah. I think after that he probably thought, well, I'll get the settlement, whatever it is. Who knows? Let's take a break there, Micah, and when we come back, hopefully we'll be joined by Alan, and we'll discuss the 2 games that were played today, Sunday, when we're talking. Back in a minute. This episode is brought to you by Green King Sports Pubs. Have you ever tried to get all of your friends to the pub to watch a big match? And when you get there, it's not even playing.
That's because you didn't book a table at a Green King Sports Pub, Gary. Green King are celebrating an absolutely stacked football season by showing over 2,000 live matches over multiple competitions.
2,000 live matches? How many matches can you possibly watch in a year?
Well, get me a Green King Sports Pub table and I'll be able to watch even more than I usually do.
Just make sure you book in advance. There are some great fixtures this week. Liverpool versus Real Madrid on Tuesday, the 4th of November. And Arsenal women versus Chelsea women on the 8th of November. And Manchester City versus Liverpool on Sunday, the 9th of November.
Don't miss out on a match-winning moment or celebrating a goal from your favourite player.
Catch every moment this season at your local Green King Sports Pub and book your seat at greenking.co.uk. Welcome back to The Rest is Football. Micah Richards and Miguel Lica now joined by a certain Alan Shearer in the back of a car. You've had a very busy long weekend, Alan.
I've had a busy weekend, yeah. I'm actually very bit tired, actually. Yeah, I did match the day yesterday. Jumped in the car, got down to London, and then did PLP today, with the 2 games that we've been doing. So, heavy weekend, yeah.
Yeah, and now where are you driving?
I'm heading
back up north,
back to Newcastle now, yeah. So, only in that another 4.5 hours to go.
Well,
can I ask you though, why don't you just stay down and go back in the morning?
Because then it'll take me half a day travelling on Monday, where I just prefer to get home. If I get home at about half midnight tonight, at least I wake up in my own bed.
Yeah, I used to think the same thing after Match of the Day, because obviously travelling on Sunday is not as easy anyway, because trying to get the train up and down.
Yeah.
But and it's the same, isn't it? At least you get in your own bed and you can have a lie in the next day or something. Yeah. I'm with you on that one. Just 2 games played today that you would have covered, obviously, Alan. Let's start with, I tell you what, do you want to get the rant out off first? Do you want to?
Yeah.
Let's get Newcastle out of the way so we can finish perhaps on a slightly more positive note, because you weren't very happy, were you?
Seriously, how bad were Newcastle? I mean, they were rotten. They were awful. It's as bad as I can remember under Eddie Howe for a long time.
Until the last time you said this last season at some point.
It was so bad. I mean, they were lazy. They were lethargic. They had no energy. Other than maybe Murphy, who scored the goal, there was not one player that could come off that pitch and say, I did all right today. They were terrible, every single one of them, from the goalkeeper to the centre forward, right the way through. They were awful and got what they deserved. West Ham were the best team by a mile. Yeah, and it hurts to say that, because it was even when they went 1-0 up, I'm thinking they're a bit fortunate here. But then I'm thinking, West Ham.
Well, it was mad,
so
wasn't it? Because you had that incredible effort from Jared Bowen at the post. Yeah. And then they went straight down the other side and scored. I thought, that sums it up for West Ham.
The way they went through West Ham, I thought, we're going to get a few here. West Ham are fragile. Fans will be moaning. It's going to be a tough day for West Ham. But give credit to them, the way they turned it around and the way they stuck together, because it would have been, the pressure was on them then when Newcastle scored. So, yeah, well done, West Ham. They thoroughly deserved it. Newcastle were hopeless. Stop laughing. What are you laughing at, Micah? Look, he's been holding that in. You dickhead.
He has.
Look at him.
It's just how it affects your mood. It's just how it affects you.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant. When you beat me last week at Baller League, you was giving the bigger, the this, that, and the other. Sending me messages. I've not sent you one message because I know how much it hurts. So I was just waiting for the rant.
It's mad how it's mad, isn't it? As even however old and you think you're getting a bit more mature, how much your team's performances affect your mood. And you just think, come on, it's like, why does it, it's just, I mean, Leicester at the moment, I mean, talk about, you think you've got things bad. I mean, crikey, we're really defeat, lost at home again. And you just think, oh God, is anything ever going to change? But I was actually talking to my mate last night, we were out for dinner. And I was saying, if you think about it though, if about 10, 12 years ago, if you just said, right, okay, Leicester, they're going to win the league and then they're going to win the FA Cup and then they're going to go back to being Leicester and be pretty shit and probably Championship and occasionally visit the Premier League again. Would you accept that? And I'd have gone, abso-fucking-lutely. And also, that ain't going to happen. But it did happen. So, but it does affect your mood. It really does.
Especially when you've got 4.5 hours up the motorway in a car.
Oh,
oh God. Yeah. Oh, never mind.
Did anyone stand out for West Ham?
Yeah, the young boy, Freddie Potts, made his first Premier League start.
Yeah.
He's I think it was is it Steve Potts? I think he was he's at West Ham. He's been there for years, hasn't he? That's his son. And by the way, to put him in a pressurised situation like it was, and for him to stand out like he did, he got man of the match, player of the match. He was brilliant. He really stood out. So yeah, he was the standout, Micah.
Yeah, totally agree with that as well. And but for a toenail, he would have scored, wouldn't he? Yeah. Apparently, his dad only got one goal, didn't he, or something? Or he had to wait like 10 years to score a goal or something.
Yeah, what a day for him! Yeah. What a great day for the family.
Yeah. Why do you think Newcastle are struggling away from home?
I think different style, obviously, because of what happened in the summer, getting used to playing a different way. But no, I don't like what I'm seeing away from home. I get that things have changed, but that doesn't stop you running around. That doesn't stop you being aggressive. If you go back to last season, the one thing that Newcastle were tough to play against. And the thing about going away from home is you might have 2,000 or 3,000 of your fans in the stadium. It might be drowned out somewhere. But the difference between away and home, you've got 52,000 at home who will not let you not put a shift in, not graft, not work, not tackle, and do all the things that made Newcastle successful by winning the cup last year, by getting back into the Champions League. And I'm not seeing that away from home. And that's the thing that Eddie has to somehow turn around. I could sense his anger after the game. I knew he was angry at half-time because he got stuck into his players and made 3 changes, but they didn't really get any better second half, to be honest. So that's what he's got to work out and figure out. He's got to get back that being tough to play against, particularly away from home. Not so bad at St James's, but away from home they've been very, very weak. And they've also got to get players into goal-scoring positions because there's only 4 of them scored league goals at this moment in time. Anthony Gordon's been really good in the Champions League, hasn't done it in the league as yet. And there's a few like that as well. So they've got to get back to being tough and back to basics. What made them successful.
Which is probably what Nuno's trying to do with West Ham, isn't it?
Yeah. I think that's what would have pleased him more than anything today. It wasn't about the performance with West Ham. It wasn't just about their great attitude, because it would have been easy for them to crumble with Newcastle going in front so early on, with them hitting the post, with them getting the penalty decision turned over. And they must have thought, here we go again, we're up against it. But they stuck at it, and that's what would have pleased him more than anything, as well as the 3 points, because it just gives you something to build on, knowing that the players are with you and they're willing to work extremely hard.
I think they'll stay up. Do you, Micah? West Ham, not Newcastle. I'm not, I'm not. I'm cruel, but I'm not that cruel.
He's even laughing at that again. What do you think, man? What's up with you?
I think they have too much quality to go down. I think that was a massive win for them. If you look at the individual quality they have on the field. With Bowen, even Paquetá. I didn't like the dive that he did when he squared up to someone on the pitch, and he didn't need to do all that. It was nonsense. But in terms of the quality they have, Bowen, when he's on it, he'll get him out of trouble for sure.
Yeah, he was very unlucky with the one that hit the post. Manchester City, Micah. City. Looked pretty good, I thought, in that game. And, you get the pluses of Rodri coming on. I know it was only for a couple of minutes, but it's back from injury again. So hopefully he'll return. I thought O'Reilly did really well. But we have to talk about the fella again, don't we? The big man.
God.
The only thing
How good is he?
Particularly the one thing I would say and I think Iraola's an amazing coach and he's done a brilliant job at Bournemouth, but to play a high line against Erling Haaland, who can give you 3-yard start anyway, is very, very brave. Let's say brave.
Well, it didn't work at all, did it? Because
3 times he went through, didn't he? 2 he scored.
Cherki. I liked Cherki's performance. He's been injured, and he always looks for that killer pass. I know a lot of people might think he's quite frustrating, but he's not afraid to take that pass, and it was really good football intelligence to just head it on to Haaland, and once it goes through there, even though I don't think it was the greatest finish, I think it went under the
first one, first one was
when he headed it through. But yeah, it's just phenomenal. He really is. Nico O'Reilly as well, great game. I thought Foden
was good.
Played well.
Yeah, encouraging.
I don't know if you saw during the game as well, and Pep. Everyone thought Pep was doing like a kiss sign to the goal scorer, but it was actually Foden for getting in the pocket, getting in the little half spaces, making something happen. But I thought he looked really good.
Do you know what else he looked? He looked happy. He was playing with a smile on his face, and I think he admit by his own admission last season that I think he was obviously having struggles in whatever way, maybe mental health or whatever. But he looks like he's got his mojo back now.
Definitely. Yeah, you can tell he's got a bit of that swagger going back on again. But I agree with you guys. I mean, Bournemouth's back four were all over the place. Yeah, we haven't said that too many times this season.
No.
And I think the big picture is Bournemouth are fourth, and they, without doubt, have been one of the best teams up to now, and they would have taken that. But today, with that high line, with Erling Haaland playing against him, and it's even more noticeable, and I said it, didn't I, a few weeks back, is that they are so direct into him now. They are playing massively to what he needs and what he wants in terms of crosses into the box, early balls in behind, and he is absolutely loving it and destroying teams with his goals.
I like the look of this Krupi, though. I like him. I know. He's got good movement for a young fella, isn't he? Was he only 19? Yeah. He's always seems to get a chance or be in the right place at the right time.
Are you a groupie?
Croupy.
He had that one chance, didn't he, to make it 2-2, and that might have been a turning point in the game, but he missed that, and you thought they might get punished for that, and they did. But he looks lively, doesn't he?
He looks really lively. Yeah. I just think, watching him and seeing his movement, it looks really, really intelligent. Yeah,
he's definitely got something. Definitely talented, and he's obviously scored. What's he scored 3 already, hasn't he, in the previous couple of games? Yeah. So, Bournemouth might have found it. They're pretty good at finding talent, Bournemouth, aren't they?
Yeah, I do like the left back they bought in as well, Truffet. Yeah. Is that how you pronounce it, guys?
You tell me, Micah.
I don't know. That's why I asked you.
Yeah, I'm not,
the Oracle we call you, don't we? The Oracle.
No, you don't.
You know everything.
Truffet, Truffet, isn't it?
Truffet, yes. Truffet, he's good.
Yeah. Truth or Dare, is it? Truth or Dare?
What about the lugs? The lugs comment. The lugs. Oh my gosh!
Still have a little chuckle. Have we gone from Bournemouth to that comment straight away?
Well, what brought? I'm going to say what brought that up, but that's probably the wrong phrase.
Just when he said truth or dare, I don't know why.
Okay, Mike. Yeah, but oh dear, that I think that went pretty viral. Unsurprisingly.
Oh goodness.
I mean, obviously, we talked about Arsenal's performance in the first half, Alan, and you were doing Match of the Day last night. We watched that, but I mean, I think City or Liverpool are the most likely to chase them down. What do you think?
Yeah, I think they've set the standard. They're brilliant in every position, and even when they take one off and bring one on, their strength and depth is superb. Their first half yesterday, they were superb. They really were. They came off the gas a bit second half, but the game was won. Gyökeres went off at half time. I don't know how serious that is, but hopefully not for him, because I thought he was really good as well in the first half. Got his goal. It's just incredible. They're not even giving teams the chance to have a shot at them. Really, they're so tight and so mean. And again, a set piece. But I thought their fullbacks were outstanding and have been, not just against Burnley, but how they get into forward positions in the box and are such a threat and difficult to pick up. So, yeah, Arsenal have been absolutely magnificent, setting the pace.
We were talking in the first half a little bit about this, but I I mean, if you had to pick a team now, and I know we've all picked Liverpool, as most people did at the start of the season. If you have to pick your team now, it'd be tough to go against Arsenal. I mean, I know things can go wrong and things change and you lose a couple of games and confidence wanes, but I think they look the part, don't they? They really do.
Yeah, they do. I mean, Liverpool got their win. They weren't perfect, but it was a start for them again, to start from somewhere. City, I'm not sure about defensively. They're giving chances away. I mean, Haaland's always going to score. He's going to end up with 45 or 50 goals, maybe even more. But there's still issues with those two. But I don't see really weakness as yet in Arsenal, and that would be the worrying thing for City and for Liverpool.
You know what? On some Brighton news, if Sunderland win tomorrow, they'll go second, Al.
Yeah.
Should we put them in the the hunt as well, then? Shall we?
Would you? Oh, I think so. Why not, Alan?
Yeah, would you?
Probably
Lads,
not.
I've got 4.5 fucking hours. Newcastle have been beaten, and you're telling me Sunderland are in the fucking title race. Come on, be kind to me, please. Come on.
I'm just stating the facts. Yeah. If they win tomorrow, they go second. That's it. That's all I'm saying.
I know. I have to be careful because the Sunderland fans don't like me saying anything against them. So they've been, if they win second, bloody hell, what a start for them.
We'll let you go on your journey. Just one little news story that's just broken, actually, that Southampton have parted ways with Will Still, with that. You know, obviously, didn't he learn his trade on Football Manager and stuff and came?
No, he didn't. No,
is that a myth?
It is him, yeah. But I did interview with him a couple of years ago. He sort of said it wasn't true. He said he loved the game, but he's been all over coaching.
Right. I'll withdraw that comment.
No. It is true.
Yeah.
That's what he was known for. But when I spoke to him, he said, not really. He just was obsessed with the game.
Yeah.
And then he used some of the stats from the game to bring into the modern day football or something. So it's completely right.
Yeah, well, a lot of clubs do that anyway, don't they? Use the statistics now, and there's so much more data used on footballers and teams and such. But yeah, it's a tough one. So we were talking in the first half as well, Alan, about the coach's job, and I spoke to Ancelotti on Friday, interview with him for which will come out in a week or two, and even he was saying that it's just, you know, you're just almost certain to get the sack at some point. I mean, it's such a tough. It's well paid, but it's also. I mean, I don't know how they deal with it. It must drive you mad.
You know the rules, don't you? I mean, he understands that Southampton being relegated near the bottom of the Championship now, being beaten at home. So I guess you know the rules when you go into management, that, and you understand that. I think at some stage you're probably right. You're probably going to get sacked one day. What's
the betting on Gary O'Neill coming back to Wolves and Russell Martin going back to Southampton? There's a little double. It's not impossible. I mean, Gary O'Neill is being linked with Wolves already, and I think I think they'd take Russell Martin back at Southampton because he did a pretty good job there. So, I mean, it's such a mad world, coaching and the merry-go-round and all this nonsense.
Who'd want to do coaching, Al?
It's a lot easier in our world, guys.
It's a lot easier telling them how to do it than do it yourself. Absolutely, that is a fact. Yeah. And I'll always admit that. Absolutely, there's no question about that. All right, well, safe travels, Alan. Have a smooth journey. And
cheers, boys. Micah. Will I be seeing you at Anfield on Tuesday for Liverpool Real Madrid?
Oh, that's a biggie.
Oh no, I'm not going. Really? Studio.
Really?
Okay, studio. I'll be at that game for Amazon. I'm doing the co-coms. What a game that is to look forward to.
That's a beauty, isn't it? That is a beauty. Yeah. And it helps with Liverpool winning as well. Yeah, so hopefully, they're a bit more buoyant going into that game.
Just on the Champions League, Rashford will be playing in the Champions League. He just scored, hasn't he?
Great goal again. Beat a player, smashed it on the underside of the bar. I saw it. Yeah.
Did he?
Cracking. I think he's got a goal contribution on average of 70 minutes every 70 minutes, which is pretty good. He's done really, really well because they've had injuries as well. But he's been a kind of ever-present, really. Remember people saying, well, I'm not sure whether he'll get in the team, whether he'll get a game and all this stuff, but he's done really well.
Week in, week
really
out,
good,
yeah.
really good. Pleased for him. Lovely way to finish. So that's it for this episode. I'll be back talking about Spanish football with Alex Aljo for you tomorrow on Tuesday. But for now, goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me. Have a great week.